الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم، أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار، في من تمن علي وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد، وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام، فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور، اللهم اغني كل فقير، اللهم اشبع كل جائع، اللهم اكسو كل عربيان، اللهم اقضي دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل أسير، اللهم أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين، اللهم اشفي كل مريض، اللهم سنت فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اقضي عنا الدين وأغننا من الفقر، إنك على كل شيء قدير. صلوات.
فدر محمد وآل محمد. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر ہو رہا ہے. سجدے میں آج زخمی، سجدے میں آج زخمی شیر خدا ہوا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر ہو رہا ہے. ہاتھوں سے اپنے سر کو مولا سنبھال لے دے، خاک زمین اٹھا کے ظالموں میں ڈالتا ہے. مشکل کشا کا چہرہ سب خون میں بھرا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. مسجد بھی رو رہی ہے، ممبر بھی رو رہی ہے. مسجد میں اور نمازیں جہاں اپنی گہا رہا ہے. کوفے میں آج غم کی چھائی ہوئی کٹا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. مشکل کشا کے گھر میں حسنین کی لڑ رہی ہے. عباس با وفا بھی آنسو بہا رہی ہے. پہلے ہوئے غموں کی چاروں طرف ہوا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. اولاد فاطمہ پا مشکل کی گھڑی ہے. زینب کی کتاب میں دہلیز پھر کھڑی ہے. سیدانوں میں برپا کورم رو رہا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. حسرت بازوؤں کو زینب کی تک رہی ہے. آنکھوں سے بے علی کی آنسو ٹپک رہی ہے. احساس کے بیر ڈائی دل کو کھٹکا گیا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. کل سو میں سر جھکائے کٹ کٹ کے رو رہی ہے. زخمی جگر کو اپنے اشکوں سے ڈور رہا ہے. نام سے دل پہ ہائے کوئی علم گرا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. سبحان کے کلم کی بر ہوئی اروانی رو کے نوح ایسے پرات جانی. بیگی سب کی آنکھیں اور شخص کر رہا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. دونوں جہاں میں ماتم ہے، ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے ڈر کا ہو رہا ہے. درود محمد و آل محمد پر.
صلوات. کیسے کہوں کیا لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. کیسے کہوں کیا لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. خشک گلے پر چلتا تھا خنجر، دیکھا ہے میں نے وہ غم کا منظر. بھائی کو کھو کر آئی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. کیسے کہوں کیا لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. شاہ غموں کی بزم تھے اماں، زخم کے اندر زخم تھے اماں. دیکھ کے وہ بھی آئی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. کیسے کہوں کیا لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. سر کھلے میں بازار ستم تک، کیسے گئی دربار ستم کر. آئے بتانے آئی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. بیٹے کہاں ہے بھائی کہاں ہے، رس کے بازو پر اب نشان ہے. ہائے بہت دکھ پائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. جس نے تماچے کھائے تھے منہ پر، جس کے چھینے تھے ننھے سے گوہر، اس کی بھی چادر لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. لکھتی تھی قبر فاطمہ زہرا، رو رو کے جب یہ کہتی تھی دکھیا، غم کی سنانے لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. بس اشعار نقوی اور احسان، کہتی تھی زینب نانا کے گلشن، بن میں لٹا کے آئی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. کیسے کہوں کیا لائی ہوں اماں، لٹ کے وطن میں آئی ہوں اماں. صلوات.
ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي جعل الحمد مفتاحا لذكره وسببا للمزيد من فضله ودليلا على آلائه وعظمته، ثم الصلاة والسلام وتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني الهاشمي الذي سمي في السماوات بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم محمد. وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهداة المهديين، سيما أولهم أمير المؤمنين وآخرهم بقية الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. ورحمة الله على محبيهم ومواليهم وشيعتهم أجمعين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وغاصب حقوقهم ومنكري فضائلهم ملعونين. أما بعد, for the happiness of Hazrat Zahra Marziyah, for the enlightenment of the graves of Yawm Marhumin, of the graves of the Shahada, Ulama and Siddiqeen, for the safety of the followers of Ahl al-Bayt around the world, and for the safety and the hastening of the reappearance of Hazrat Baqiyatullah al-A'zam Arwahun al-Fida, please recite your loudest salawat. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is Rahman and the one who is Rahim. Yesterday we looked at why it is that Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is referred to by Imam al-Hadi as Awwalu Madloom, the first of the Madloom, the first of the oppressed, and why it is that Amir al-Mu'mineen himself also referred to himself on a number of occasions as being the one that was oppressed from the moment that Rasulullah closed his eyes upon this world. And we said there were 4 or 5 reasons that stand out more than others about why it is that Ali alayhi salam was that awwalu madhloom, was the first one who was the madhloom from Ahl al-Bayt, the most oppressed individual. And one of the things that I said was the lack of ma'rifah of the hujjah of Allah. Why is it that in most cases the hujjah of Allah is left alone? These individuals with so much virtue, with so much greatness, with all of these fada'il, why is it that the hujjah is always left alone? What is the reason for it? That the awliya of Allah at the end are always alone. If it's the Holy Prophet, there's only a handful of people at his funeral. If it is Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam, that woman that is Siddiqatul Kubra, that woman that is the one whom the Prophet of Islam said, ala ma'rifatiha darat al-qurun al-ula, that it is upon her ma'rifah that all of the solar system rotates, all of the planets rotate because of knowing who Fatima is. Then why is it that then she is alone at the end? Go to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein, Imam al-Sajjad, ila akhir. Why is it that the awliya of Allah are left alone? What is the reason that even those that claim to love them, but at times of difficulty, they leave the Imams all alone? And this is extremely important for us to understand, because we await an Imam. An Imam who also awaits us, more so than we await him. This is a common misconception that we are awaiting an Imam. No, the reality of the situation is the Imam is awaiting us. This 1,000 and something year ghaibah that we are experiencing and being deprived of the hujjah of Allah and crying about it in dua iftitah every single day in the holy month of Ramadan, by saying Allahumma inna nashku ilayka faqda nabiyyina wa ghaybata waliyina. This complaining that we are doing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is of our own making. This ghaybah is of our own making, because the Imam is awaiting us to be ready. But the fact that we are not ready, the fact that we cause the hujjah of Allah to cry. Twice a week, the riwayat say. Twice a week, when he is presented with his scroll, with the scroll of deeds of his Shi'as, the Imam cries over the state of his Shi'as. The Imam that has nothing less to cry about. If you look in Ziyarat Nahiya Muqaddasa, the Imam says, وَلَا أَبْكِيَنَّ لَكَ بَدَلَ الدَّمُوعِ الدَّمْعَ. Says that when my tears, for about Abdullah, he says, oh my grandfather, I cry for you sabbahan wa masa'a. I cry for you day and night. وَلَا أَبْكِيَنَّ لَكَ بَدَلَ الدَّمُوعِ الدَّمْعَ. And when my tears run out, I cry tears of blood for you. The hujjah of Allah's heart is already broken from the centuries of oppression that befell the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. But on top of that hurt, he weeps over my state and over my situation and over my lackadaisical approach towards the religion. Let it not be the case that I am the reason for the hujjah of Allah being left alone. That I am one of those who will say, Allahumma ajjil waliyyaka al-faraj. But when he comes, I will tell him, no, go back, we don't need you. We were okay without you. Because that's what the hadith says. They say that he will bring the religion in its truest form. But I will have watered down the religion to such an extent that it's unrecognizable in my life. It's unrecognizable in my home. That if someone was to walk in to my house and look at my family setup, they wouldn't be able to tell whether this was the house of a Shia of Ahlul Bayt or not. And that's disappointing if that is the case. If someone has to think twice whether or not I'm a Muslim or a Shia of Ahlul Bayt. Because as much as we are told, oh no, don't go on appearances, Islam on the Zahir is very much about appearances. The batin is important, but your appearance is as important. The Zahir is as important. I'll give you some examples. The individual whom leads the Salah, actually no, leave that for a second. The Holy Prophet of Islam, when he would leave the house, there would be a pool of water by he'd have a bucket of water by the door. And he would look at himself every time he'd left the house. Would do his hair, would make sure his beard was munazzam, was in a respectable state. And then he would leave the house. He would wear the nicest clothing. He would wear the most expensive perfumes. In fact, he himself said that there is no israf when it comes to spending on perfume. Such was the importance of this exoteric, the outward of an individual. Even to the extent that one of his wives one day complains, says, who are you beautifying yourself for? Where are you going? Looking so nice and, putting all this effort in. And the Holy Prophet says, أَتَجَمَّلُ لِرَبِّي, I beautify myself for my Lord, because this is what my Lord wants. Your Lord is Jameel. And so He expects from you beauty. He is beauty, so He expects from you beauty. Imam al-Hassan, his appearance was from amongst all of the, straight after Amir al-Mu'mineen. Even Amir al-Mu'mineen, often when we look at Amir al-Mu'mineen, we think about Amir al-Mu'mineen and we think about the life of Amir al-Mu'mineen, we're like, Amir al-Mu'mineen would walk around in tattered clothing, or in some way his clothing would be, in a disheveled state. It's not the case. When I think of Imam Ali, I think about, patchy clothing, ripped, maybe something. But in reality, Amir al-Mu'mineen's clothing was simple, yes, but it was always clean. It was always presentable. And as time went forward and the Ummah began to increase in its socio-economic status, then the Imams themselves also began to change the way that they dressed. So you look at Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. Imam al-Hassan was known for his beauty, known for how handsome he was. And the clothing that he would wear and the way that he would style himself, to the extent that someone one day looks at the Imam as he's coming out. He's riding on a very nice horse. He's dressed very nicely. And he's riding out. And the Imam is seen by someone. This guy shouts out to the Imam. He says, I see pride in you. And the Imam looks at him and says, this isn't pride, what you see. This is izzah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The religion is about the exoteric as well as the esoteric. Sometimes we're like, no, what matters inside is important. No, the Quran itself says, if you're going to recite Quran, then recite Quran, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Recite the Quran with a beautiful melody. So again, there's an outward beauty of the religion that must be presented. That if you're reciting the Quran, then recite it with the best of melodies, with the nicest of voices, because this is the image of the deen. This is the image of the religion. Hatta even in our fiqh, we have that in regards to the person who leads the salah. The one that leads the salah can have no obvious physical defects. The Imam-e-Jamaat cannot have any obvious physical defect. Why? Because he becomes the face of the religion for those that are non-Muslim. And so when they look towards the Imam of the Jama'at, it should be something that attracts them towards the religion. These are things that we don't think about. We think, the religion isn't about that. The religion isn't about these things. It's all about what's inside. No, it's not. It's about what's outside as well. This is why, forgive the example, but this is the truth. The individual that is clean shaven you cannot take their testimony in Islamic court, even though they may be a mu'min as much as they want. But the act of shaving is haram. And so in an Islamic court, if they say, I've seen the moon of the month of Ramadan, you can't take their testimony. If they say, I witnessed a crime, in an Islamic court, you can't take their testimony. Why? Because they're known as an open sinner. Because the shaving of the beard is a sin, according to hadith. As much as we don't like to hear these things. So the religion is about the outward appearance, as well as what is inside. Because when you take care of what is outward, then ultimately the inner self begins to adjust itself. Even Imam Ali alayhi salam, he has this hadith, he says that if you want to be Halim, forbearing. Forbearance is one of the greatest characteristics that an individual can create for themselves, to have within themselves, to be Halim. So he says, if you want to be Halim, فَتَحَلَّمْ, then act forbearing. Fake it till you make it, basically. Act like you are Halim, even because it's a state that will come afterwards. But prior to that, you need to do the action. Otherwise, you're not going to reach the lubbul lubab. You will never reach the sir, the secret that is hidden in that particular action. The religion is about submission. Someone comes to the 8th Imam, says to him that, Yabna Rasulillah, why is it that when I come out having done a ghusl or a shower and I'm squeaky clean and I still have to do wudu again? The Imam says to him, because Allah wants to see how much taslim you have in you, how much submission you have in you. It's not about the being clean. The religion isn't about what you think. It is about what Allah thinks. It's about what God's opinion is. And so what God wants from you is paramount over everything. That is the most important thing that is in the religious life of an individual. So the zahir is as important as the batin. The batiniya movement, those people that said, oh no, it's what's in my heart that counts. The Imams have sent la'na on them. The batiniya movement during the time of Imam al-Kadhim, Imam al-Rada, and later on, oh, what's in the heart is what matters. No, 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 no. What is outside is also matters, is what matters as much as what is in your heart. Those, the Batiniya people that were there prior, the Imams alayhi salam, because there were these people, they said, look, it doesn't matter about my outward action, whether I pray, whether I do this, as long as my heart is clean. And you hear people often say, oh, I know all of these people that have recited, that recite salah, but they don't, they're not good people. They all lie and cheat and steal and do all of these things. That doesn't matter. That's not a grading for where we want to, where you define your religion, or just because someone who is outwardly religious commits a sin. That does not mean that, the individual, that now I stop doing the outward of the religion. So it is extremely important that the exoteric nature of the religion be preserved as well. It's about doing the action, and then the action will open itself out to the individual. I need to pray. I can't hope that the philosophy of the prayer will come to me before I even step into praying. No, as long as I accept God exists, and that God has knowledge, and that God is merciful, and that God will never do anything wrong by me, then I must observe what that God wants from me, or else there is adab. Everyone's like, yeah, but God's merciful as well. Yes, He is merciful when you stay in His boundaries. When you break His boundaries, you're going to hell. It's as simple as that. Yes, He is more merciful than 100 mothers, 1,000 mothers. But you break the rules, you're going to hell. We sometimes like, yeah, but the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's Ghafurur Rahim. Yes, He is. Within a context, within a boundary. You maintain the boundaries and you slip up here and there, he will. That's where his rahmah comes in. But if I spend my whole life ignoring what he wants from me, and then hope that one day he's going to forgive me because I chose to ignore him all my life, because he is Rahman and Rahim and Ghafoor, not going to happen. Because he, alongside his being merciful, he's also just. His justice is very important. As was the justice of Amir al-Mu'mineen. See, Amir al-Mu'mineen is the embodiment of that justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want to understand like this duality that exists, look at the wujud of Amir al-Mu'mineen. How it is that he embodies these godly characteristics within himself. The justice of Ali is such that if, I dare say, Amir al-Mu'mineen was here in our day and age, we'd call Amir al-Mu'mineen an extremist. We'd be like, al-ayadhu billah, he's a bit extreme. This Ali. Read Nahj al-Balagha. And then you'll see, read the khutbahs that he gives in Kufa to the people of Kufa about what he says in regards to hijab, what he says in regards to social interaction. Look at how Amir al-Mu'mineen's adl plays out. And do not think that our Imam will be any less. The justice of Ali is such that I wouldn't be able to bear it. I wouldn't be able to bear it. No, you have Qanbar, the slave of Amir al-Mu'mineen, close to Amir al-Mu'mineen. One day during the Khilafat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, there is the capital punishment that must be administered. 50 or 60 lashes must be given to an individual because of whatever crime he committed. So Amir al-Mu'mineen, he tells Qanbar, he says, administer 50 lashes on this man. Qanbar begins, gets a little excited, and does 60 instead of 50. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Qanbar, I said 50, not 60. Qanbar says, sorry, Ali, I lost count. Imam Ali alayhi salam says to the man, stand up, the one that had just been lashed. Says, Qanbar, give me the whip. Says, take off your top, Qanbar. He gives the man the whip. He says, whip him 10 times. For he has infringed your haqq, your right. Haqqun nas is more important, has more precedent over the haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Amir al-Mu'mineen would be, Ya Ali, look, come on. I'm your friend. Are you going to really judge me like this as well? Najashi was the poet of Amir al-Mu'mineen. For years, he would recite poetry about Amir al-Mu'mineen, to Amir al-Mu'mineen, constantly in praise of Amir al-Mu'mineen, in love of Amir al-Mu'mineen. One day in the holy month of Ramadan, Najashi, on the way to the masjid to recite Salat al-Jama'ah behind Amir al-Mu'mineen, he comes across an old friend. His friend from the period of Jahiliyyah. He looks at him and says, Najashi, is that you? He says, yes. So where have you been? Whatever. He says, have you become a Muslim now as well? He says, yes. He says, where are you going? He says, I'm going to the masjid to pray. He goes, there's so much time before the salah. So much time. Where are you going? Why are you going so quickly? He says, look, come to the house for a bit. Let's sit down. Najashi says, okay, fine. So he goes to the house and he sits in the house of that individual. And the man is sitting there and he's talking, and amongst that chitter chatter that's going on, he brings food and he puts it down in front of Najashi. Najashi says, "It's Shahr Ramadan. What are you doing?" The man says, "Najashi, Allah is merciful. Come on. I haven't seen you in so many years. Let's eat together. Allah will forgive. You know Allah is merciful. Eat." Najashi says, "Allah is merciful, yeah." And so he sits down and he eats. Eating, and then now as the food is finishing, the man brings out a jug of wine. Najashi, "A little tipple for old time's sake." Najashi says, "Look, he's like, come on, you've broken your fast. Allah is merciful. Now we're in the mercy of Allah. Come on." Najashi's like, "No problem. Why not? For old time's sake." Starts knocking back glass after glass, to the point that Najashi is drunk. And now he's walking through the streets. In British English we say legless. He couldn't walk in a straight line. This is all over the streets, drunken, disorderly in the streets. They come and they tell Amir al-Mu'mineen, "Ya Ali, your poet Najashi is drunk in the month of Ramadan." Amir al-Mu'mineen says, "Grab him, put him in jail. Let him sober up." They put him in jail. Amir al-Mu'mineen announces that tomorrow he'll get this many whips, like 50 for example, and an additional 10 for doing it in the holy month of Ramadan, for being drunk. The family of Najashi and the tribe of Najashi, they come to visit Amir al-Mu'mineen. Say, "Ya Ali, look, he is one of your lovers. He is one of your poets. He's recited your praises all of these years. Ya Ali, he slipped up. Just let him go. Just one time. He just messed up. Just let it, can't you just gloss over it? Can't you just brush it under the rug? You know how we do sometimes when members of our community commit open sin, open fisq, openly committing the sin. And we're like, "Oh, it's okay, their heart is nice. I guess, let's just tuck that away." And then we like sort of say, "Okay, they can still hold this position or that position. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, they're committing open sin, but it's okay. That's their private life. What they do in the Husayniyah, they're very religious here." So they're saying the same thing. "Ya Ali, come on, he's one of the boys. How can you?" Amir al-Mu'mineen looks at them, says, "Be that as it may, but I cannot change the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot change the boundaries that have been set down by God. If Ali alayhi salam was here today, we definitely wouldn't make the cut. We'd be like, "Oh no, I don't know, Ya Ali. I think that's a little bit extreme in, where you're going with this." Because that's the type of Islam that we have created for ourselves. And so why is it that the awliya of Allah are left alone? Every single one of the wali of Allah, when it came to the end, they were alone. Or just a handful of people surrounded them, when millions should have been around them. Was one of the reasons is because of this, that the hudud of Allah cannot be compromised on. The religion, the boundaries set down by God, there is no compromise. There is no compromise. This is why you see in places where individuals truly gave themselves to the hujjah of Allah, even if their brother was on the other side, they were willing to come and fight against their brother. Look at the early battles of Islam. One brother is on this side with the Prophet, one brother is still a kafir. He fights because now blood ties don't mean anything when it comes to the religion and the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the plains of Karbala, on one side is a brother by the name of Amr, and on the other side with Sayyid al-Shuhada is Amr, and on the other side with Yazid is his brother called Ali. On the opposite side. But he rejects his brother, he turns away from his brother. Why? Because the hudud of Allah, the boundaries of God, cannot be compromised on. This is the single most important thing that you must understand. The religion has boundaries. Whosoever breaks those boundaries is not worthy of respect. Is not worthy of respect. Yes, once or twice someone slips up. But when someone is an open sinner, openly breaking the boundaries of Islam, then at that point, there is no compromise. And this is why the Hujjah of Allah, the Wali of Allah, the awliya, were always left alone in the end. Because there was no compromise on the hudud that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had set down. And so you see that Ali would not compromise on the hudud of Allah. So they began to plot to kill Amir al-Mu'mineen. A plot that came to fruition on the Fajr of the 19th. Ali alayhi salam was struck on the head by Ibn Muljim. Ali falls to the ground. Jibreel calls through the heavens and the earth. تهدمت والله أركان الهدى. By Allah, the pillar of guidance has fallen. Hassanain alayhim salam rushed to the aid of their father. Ali alayhi salam, they cradled the head of Amir al-Mu'mineen. As the salah is completed by Imam al-Hassan, some people have captured Ibn Muljim and they have brought him in front of Ali. And here again you see the justice of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He looks towards him and he sees that he's out of breath, panting. He turns to Imam al-Hassan. They brought milk for Amir al-Mu'mineen to drink. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, give it to him. He looks more thirsty. He looks at Ibn Muljim and he says to him, tell me, was I not a good imam to you? That you did such an act, that you have damned yourself to hell? He turns to Imam al-Hassan, he says, my son, keep him tied up in your home. Make sure that he eats what you eat and allow him to drink from that which you drink. And if I survive from this strike, then I will be the judge of what it is that should be done to him. But if I die and you wish to take revenge, then only strike him one time, for he only struck me once. They take Amir al-Mu'mineen towards his home. By this time, Kufa has heard of what has happened to Ali. The ashab are surrounding Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ali alayhi salam, as he approaches the house with this crowd of people, he turns towards Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussein. He says, my sons, send back my ashab. Tell them all to go back. I want to enter the house alone. They say to him, Ya Ali, why is it that you want to send them back? He says to them that my daughters are waiting for me in the house. I don't want the voice of the crying of my daughters to reach the ears of any na-mahram. Ya Ali, this is that Kufa that you are worried that the voices of Zainab and Kulthum, while they weep over the wound of your body, should be heard by na-mahram men in this city. But Ya Ali, just a few years later, it will be Zainab in this very same Kufa, her hands tied around her neck, giving khutbah from one place to another. Ali alayhi salam sends away the companions, and Ali enters into the house. As Amirul Mu'mineen is entering into the house, he tells his sons, he says, as they're supporting him, says, let go of me, let me walk in on my own. Says, my daughters, they won't be able to bear to see me in such a state being carried. Ali alayhi salam goes inside the house, they lay him down. Zainab, Kulthum, they come and they mourn around Amirul Mu'mineen. Ali alayhi salam, he takes each and every one of them, holds them, consoles them. Soon, they bring a doctor towards Amirul Mu'mineen to change the bandage that is on the head of Ali. Amirul Mu'mineen, he turns to his daughters. He says, my daughters should all leave the room. My sons may remain, but my daughters leave the room. They say to him, Ya Ali, why is it that you want your daughters to leave? Amirul Mu'mineen says that when this doctor will open my bandage and there will be the wound on my head, I don't want my daughters to be able to see this wound on my head. I don't want my Zainab to see this. I don't know how my Zainab will bear it. Ya Ali, where were you on the day of Ashura when Zainab came to the body of her Hussein? فَقَطَّعُوهُ بِسَيُوفِهِمْ إِرْبًا إِرْبًا. His body that had been mutilated by their swords. How is it that Zainab stayed alive at that moment? The doctor comes, he changes the bandage on the head of Amirul Mu'mineen. He turns to the sons, he says, who is the eldest of you? Imam al-Hassan comes forward. He says, tell your father that he must do his wasiyah as fast as possible, for it is very unlikely that he will survive from this strike. Imam al-Hassan says, is there anything that we can do? He says, yes, there is one thing. If you can bring him as much milk as possible for him to drink, then it may be that his pain is eased. This news gets out into Kufa. The orphans of Kufa, those very same orphans that Ali would go in the middle of the night and feed them with his own hands. Now those orphans lined up outside of the door of Amirul Mu'mineen, holding small glasses of milk in their hands. They had said to their mothers, oh mother, the one who would come and feed us in the middle of the night, the one who would come and show us love in the middle of the night, oh mother, that Ali needs us now to come and give him milk. All of them lined up outside the door of Ali, those orphans that Ali had taken care of. But Ya Ali, you took care of the orphans of Kufa, but who was there to take care of your orphans? Ya Ali, come and look at the orphan of Abi Abdullah. She is there on the day of Ashura, witnessing her father's head severed from his body, having to see his head paraded from street to street, from city to city, while he recites Quran and the people throw stones at him. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. ماتم حسين.
حسین یا حسین یا حسین وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی وا محمدا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی دین کا ستون آج گر پڑا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا زینب حضی غشم ہے پری بی بی یا سبی روتی ہے کھری زینب حضی غشم ہے پری بی بی یا سبی روتی ہے کھری وا محمدا کی ان سے ہے صدا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی وا محمدا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا بے پدر ہوئے سبت اے نبی روتے ہیں ملاک انبیاء سبھی بے پدر ہوئے سبت اے نبی روتے ہیں ملاک انبیاء سبھی ماتم علی ان میں ہے صدا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا زلزلے میں ہے قبر مصطفیٰ کانپتی ہے آج لحد فاطمہ زلزلے میں ہے قبر مصطفیٰ کانپتی ہے آج لحد فاطمہ اہل آسماں کرتے ہیں بکا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا شور و شن ہے آج جہان میں آندھی ہے چلی آج کوفے میں شور و شین ہے آج جہان میں آندھی ہے چلی آج کوفے میں جبرائیل کی آتی ہے صدا سجدے میں ہوا مرتضی وا محمدا وا مصیبتا وا محمدا وا مصیبتا سجدے میں ہوا قتل مرتضی یا حسین یا حسین
پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے اور قبر بھی ٹوٹی ہے پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے اور قبر بھی ٹوٹی ہے زہرا کی غریبی ہی حیدر کی غریبی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ علی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ علی ہے حق مانگنے جو زہرا حق مانگنے جو زہرا دربار میں گئی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے غربت علی ہے یہ علی ہے آواز آ رہی ہے میں بنت مصطفیٰ ہوں بابا کے کلمہ گویو میں ہی تو فاطمہ ہوں پہچاننے سے دنیا، پہچاننے سے دنیا انکار کر رہی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ سن کر سلام حیدر کوئی نہیں ہے رکتا، واجب نہیں سمجھتا کوئی جواب دینا۔ افسوس فاطمہ بھی، افسوس فاطمہ بھی یہ بات جانتی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ مسجد میں سر جھکائے مولا کھڑے ہوئے ہیں، حاکم کی تہمتوں کو چپ چاپ سن رہے ہیں۔ صدیقہ سب کے آگے، صدیقہ سب کے آگے جھٹلائی جا رہی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ مظلوم کربلا کو یاد آ گئی سکینہ، بیٹی پہ مصطفیٰ کے کنفذ کا ہاتھ اٹھا، پہلو میں مرتضیٰ کی، پہلو میں مرتضیٰ کی تلوار رو پڑی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ پہلو بھی ہے شکستہ، ہاتھوں پہ بھی ہے چھالے، ہے آپ کی امانت اب آپ کے حوالے، ہے یہ کہہ کے مرتضیٰ نے، یہ کہہ کے مرتضیٰ نے میت نبی کو دی ہے، یہ غربت علی، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ کافی ہے بس یہ فکرہ رونے کو زندگی بھر، ہاتھوں کو اپنے اکثر کہتے تھے ملک حیدر، خیبر شکن کی زوجہ، خیبر شکن کی زوجہ گھٹ گھٹ کے مر گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ علی ہے۔ کیسے لکھے تکلم غربت علی ولی کی، زوجہ صحابیوں کے دربار میں گئی تھی، بیٹی شرابیوں کے، بیٹی شرابیوں کے دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ یا حسین
میں بنت علی ہوں، میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں وارث تطہیر ہوں، میں وارث وارث تطہیر ہوں، ناموں سے نبی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں، اے شام کے لوگوں، اے شام کے لوگوں، بازار سے دربار میں لے آئی ہوں مجھ کو، چاہوں تو جلا سکتی ہوں خطبوں سے میں تم کو، صابر کی بہن ہوں جو میں خاموش کھری ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگ، افسوس کنیزی میں اسے مانگ رہے ہو، تم جس کے غلاموں کی غلامی میں رہے ہو، یہ ظلم نہ ہوگا کبھی، میں زندہ بھی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں، تم اپنے پیغمبر کو اگر دیکھنا چاہو، نیزے پہ جو یہ سر ہے اسے غور سے دیکھو، ہم شکل پیغمبر ہے یہ، میں اس کی پھوپھی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں علی ہوں، زہرا کو بھی دربار میں تم نے تھا بلایا، دربار میں بھی ہوں مگر فرق ہے اتنا، پردے میں تھی وہ اور میں، پردے میں تھی وہ اور میں بے پردہ کھری ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں ہوں، بازار سے دربار میں لے آئے ہو مجھ کو، چاہوں تو جلا سکتی ہوں خطبوں سے میں تم کو، صابر کی بہن ہوں جو میں خاموش کھری ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں بنت علی ہوں، اے شام کے لوگوں میں علی ہوں، میں وارث تطہیر ہوں، ناموں سے نبی ہوں، یا حسین یا علی یا علی محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم، محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔ السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر اللهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي مولاي أخيك أبا الفضل العباس وأختك زينب أم كلثوم وبنتك سكينة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولاه، السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلطان أبا الحسن مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء. السلام عليك وعلى أختك فاطمة المأسومة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان، أجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر، واجعلنا الله من شيعتك وعوانك والمستشهدين بين يدي. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوءا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، لتعجيل الفرج ولقضاء الحوائج ولشفاء المرضى وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات. رحم الله من يقرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.